this program wouldn't be possible without our sponsors. There's a lot of technology and a lot of software and a lot of help that goes into running these events every single week. And we've got 4 great sponsors who are absolutely here and helping us fund those activities and keep this free for everybody. And I want to thank Method, who has been with us since the very beginning. Method is a software design and development shop that does custom software development to create digital experiences and helps to transform the companies they work with into world-class digital experience and customer experience and product companies as well, modern product companies. We also welcomed last week a brand new sponsor, the Product Management University, that's led by John Mansour, and they have a whole suite of online training programs for product managers. We've also got Pragmatic Institute, who has been a longtime sponsor of Product Camp and Product Coffee, and they've been training product managers in person through workshops and training classes for a couple of decades. They've been kind of leading the charge on what product management training ought to look like. They're the leading trainer of product managers in the world. And if you're looking at training for your team or for yourself, they're another great option to look at. And Feature Upvote provides our Ideas Forum, which is a tool that you can use to go and suggest topics that we would cover here at Product Coffee. Go to productcoffee.com/ideas. And you will see that voice of the customer tool in action. You can make suggestions, vote on other people's suggestions, make comments, and engage. And that helps us understand what's on your mind and what you'd like to see us bring to Product Coffee from a programming perspective. So productcoffee.com/ideas. That is powered by Feature Upvote, and we'd appreciate if you check them out as well. You can implement that really quickly and easily to bring that into your own practice and get your own voice of customer engine going from that Ideas Forum perspective. So today, we're going to welcome a good friend of Product Coffee. Ryan Garringer has been with us many, many times and has been joining Product Coffee and Product Camp for as long as I can remember. Ryan gave a session at Product Camp Atlanta this year, and sadly I was unable to attend, but it got such great feedback and such great enthusiasm from the group that was there. And as you've heard, there's quite a few people on the call today that are struggling with this very transition right now about introducing new product experiences to an existing customer base. And so we asked Ryan if he'd come back and talk through his thoughts and experiences with this topic and share those with us today. So I want to welcome Ryan today. Ryan Garringer, welcome to Product Coffee. Thank you so much for leading us today. How are you?
Good morning, Jason. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for that, Jason. I'm doing great today. Super excited for this session. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can go ahead and get started. Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for your time today. As Jason mentioned, my name is Ryan Garringer. I'm with Cox Automotive, and I'm really excited today to walk through some techniques and tools that I've used personally and our teams have used personally to transition clients from legacy experiences to more modern experiences as seamlessly as possible. So before we get started, I just wanted to give a quick introduction to myself for the folks that may not know me. So I've been in product management for about 7 years now. I've worked at a couple different companies with Cox Automotive, and I've had the opportunity to work on several digital transformation products and experiences over the years. So my product journey really started at a small advertising company called Haystack Digital Marketing, where I worked on some dashboard tools for some of our clients and some of our employees for some SEO monitoring. And that's really where I got my feet wet, learning about product and product management. Next, I moved over to dealer.com. Again, this is a very large automotive advertising company that specializes in SEO, SEM, websites, and really got to work on more client-facing applications and also some back-end tools to help make some of our processes more efficient. And finally, and currently where I'm working today is at Mannheim as a lead product manager within our global digital marketplaces. So here I'm working on a lot of our buyer experiences, and working in that role, I've had the opportunity to work with several digital transformation projects as we modernize a lot of our experiences for our clients. So to get started, why are we here today? So some of the goals and objectives that I want to go ahead and share with you is how can we seamlessly introduce new products to our clients without having a lot of impacts to their day-to-day, especially in our world today in the automotive industry. We work with clients that are bidding on cars, and that market is very scarce today. So being able to provide a seamless experience to not impact their ability to purchase cars or look up inventory is critical to not only our success, but our clients' success. So today we're going to talk about rolling out new products, and just to level set, this is going to start right before you're ready to launch out a new product. So we're going to talk about working with some of your internal stakeholders, the importance of working with beta clients, supporting some of your early adopters to your new experiences. And then we'll talk about that phased approach of defaulting clients to your new experience, and how do you manage that. And then finally, the most exciting thing is retiring those classic experiences and getting your new product experience out to 100% adoption. So step one is collaborating with internal stakeholders. So this is a very key point and step in the rollout of a new product. Essentially, what you want to do is be able to meet with different stakeholders across your organization to really socialize this new product that's coming out or this new experience that's coming out. So typically, when you're building out this product, you have some close boundary partners with engineering, product readiness, UX, your product teams. But there might be some other departments or parts of the organization that might not be familiar with that new product or experience that you're rolling out. So this is a good opportunity to really bring in other departments from operations excellence, client care, sales, many different departments, just to get their first look at this product before you actually get it out to your market and out to your clients. And so typically what we've done in the past, we call them bug bounty events, or you might call them swarm events, or just product testing events. And what the goal of this event is to do is to really introduce this product, get your team members into the new experience, almost like a playground or interacting with it, interacting with the product or experience, and really getting them to be able to test that from their perspective. And there's several ways to encourage participation that have worked successful for us. So the number one thing is just sharing that they're going to get the early access. So the first ones to see this brand new experience, be able to see it first before clients, before other folks across the organization. So that's really a great driver to get participation. The next item is always providing food. So, I mean, if you say that you're going to provide lunch, I threw in a little office reference there for Alfredo's Pizza Cafe, making sure you have some good food out there for your folks. But bringing that, and it's also a good timing. What we've done is a lot of these sessions that we do, we try to have it during the lunch period. So it's just an additional way to encourage participation from different organizations or different departments within your organizations. The next thing is make it fun. This isn't like a formal thing. This is come together, interact, meet new people with the goal in mind of testing out this new product and providing some feedback. And then finally, one thing that we've seen too that has been successful is rewarding top team members. So whether that's lunch vouchers or gift cards, or we have a program called Spark, where it's with a recognized program for top performers and people that have gone over and beyond. So make it competitive. Anybody that finds the most issues with this experience, brings the most feedback, will definitely reward you with some Spark points. So really, what are some of the benefits of this? There are many benefits to having this type of gathering with different departments meeting to test out this product. So the first and most important is awareness within the organization. So as I mentioned, you may have close boundary partners that have been close with you on building out this new product, that are getting ready to launch this product out, but there might be other departments that are not as familiar. And so by having this type of event across your organization, you're bringing in different perspectives from, client care. So, with client care, they're getting calls day in and day out about issues, about questions, and they will have a different vantage point or different perspective as well on what to look for in the new experience. Is it solving the problems that they've heard? Is it addressing some of the pain points that clients have mentioned, or any of the issues that they have run into personally? And then with different perspectives too, you work with some folks from sales. So sales are out in the field. They might be talking with clients day to day, have these really great relationships with your clients, and they also might bring a different perspective on what their clients want and what they need. And with this new experience, you can determine if you're solving that issue or how we can better solve that issue. Another key point to this is also you start to build product champions. So if you're able to bring in one team member from each department to come in and help you test this out, they can also be your product champions. So as you roll this out or as you start communicating, they can be your point of contact and really champion your product across their department, be very knowledgeable about these changes that are coming out, and really be able to speak on your behalf if anybody within that department has any questions, concerns, or just needs some additional information. And finally, this is a really unique one too, is performance testing. So as we're building out products, you never know. When you roll it out to production, you run into situations where you may have not accounted for in your lower environments or testing. But if you're able to get a large audience to go ahead and swarm test this or test this together, you might be able to identify, some potential performance issues. For example, for us, we work with, bidding on vehicles real time. So by putting 3 or 4 people in there bidding at the same time, you might be able to expose some type of performance issues or lags or any type of issue you may not have noticed through any kind of monitoring that might not be apparent. So a lot of benefits by holding this meeting with folks across your organization. And really, as part of this meeting with your organization, you also want to create a shared doc. So as part of your next steps, create a shared doc, socialize that with everybody. Yeah, Jason, yes, I know it's a powerful strategy to have. Creating that shared doc to really capture all the feedback. It's really challenging if you just write things on a whiteboard or try to write it down personally. So if you share a link out there to everybody that's participating, everybody can write down their own feedback and their own issues. So typical things that we like to capture is we ask team members to put what issue did they encounter, who encountered that issue, because sometimes they'll put an issue on there and we can't reproduce it locally. So maybe they're going through some unique steps or a different process, and being able to reach out to that team member afterwards to really reproduce that issue. Also putting down the severity and priority. So trying to, come back with your product organization and determine what type of priority is this, or what kind of severity is this? Is this a showstopper, something that we need to address before rolling it out to our external clients? Or is this something that we can do as a fast follow or, at a later time? Also writing down the status. So where are we? Is it still outstanding? Has it been completed? Or is it just going to be something that we defer at this time? And then also what teams are impacted. So this goes, a long way when you're working on planning. So if you identify issues with specific teams that own parts of that experience, this is a good way to go ahead and raise that up and make sure that you have accounted for capacity for that team when they're planning their future, either iterations or quarters, to make sure that this work is accounted for and completed. And then always follow up with your team members. This is the time that they're giving back to you and your team to help you deliver a robust product out to the marketplace. So always follow back up, thank them for coming to this event, and also provide feedback on some of the things that they may have addressed, and give them a status update so they can go back out there and retest once you've addressed those issues. So that is the first step with collaborating with internal stakeholders. And right off the bat, I want to go ahead and do a quick breakout session. So with this breakout session, we're going to get into small groups, and 2 questions just to bring up, just to try to see if there's any other ideas that if you have done this with your organization. So the first one is, what has your company done to encourage participation in collaborative events? So as we mentioned, pizza, competitive, rewards, or just getting early access. Is there anything else that your company does to really drive engagement? And the second thing is, now, with COVID and, having a lot of team members that are remote, or some companies that are fully remote, what tactics and techniques have you used at your company to really drive engagement for all remote teams? And Jason, I'll kick it over to you.
Yep.
Are we able to get these folks into breakout rooms?
Yeah, we are. How long do we want to give them?
Let's do 3 to 5 minutes.
Okay, I will drop 4 in. That'll give you a 60-second warning, and then we'll shut you down after that. Perfect. All right. There we go. There we go. Welcome back. You have some good discussions?
Absolutely.
Excellent.
We did. Well, absolutely.
Okay. Cool. I'm going to turn it back over to Ryan and let you carry on, sir.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you all. Hopefully that was very helpful. Hopefully you got some good, some insight there. Yes, Miro. Yeah, we were talking about that in our session as well. Very good collaborative remote tool to use as well. All right, so moving along to what is step two. So, after you have this event with your colleagues and within your organization, obviously you need to take a step back, reevaluate what issues or concerns may have been addressed or what you may have found. And once you get to a good place where you've either addressed it or you determine that there is no showstoppers, or you just simply want to get it out to your beta clients, that's going to be step two. So this is very important to have beta clients go ahead and test out your new experience. And typically we try to find clients that we've worked with in the past that have provided some very constructive feedback to our experiences. And these could be clients that just leave feedback on our website. They could be folks that we have engaged with via sales or client care, but it's folks that are almost, brand champions that want to help us as well. So we really try to identify a handful of clients to get into this new experience and to test it from their point as a client. So how can you get these clients? So typically over the years, clients leave feedback, I'll try to reach out to those clients directly, whether email, phone calls, and start building that relationship with the client. And, being able to really have that one-on-one and talk with the client, understand their pain points, and really be able to leverage them for some of our new product rollouts has been extremely robust and something that I would strongly recommend if you're able to tap into that and work with those clients personally, just to start building that relationship. And then they'll be more than happy to help you out most times with your new product rollouts. Another way that you can get this is just maybe partnering with other teams that are more client facing. So whether that is a sales team, if that's your client care, your UX research could work with a lot of clients or build some relationships. So tapping into those other departments to really get a robust list of clients to really introduce your new product out is, again, a very critical step in this, to make sure that your clients may identify some issues that your internal stakeholders may have not seen. So once you have your list of clients or your clients that you've identified, it's really important to be very engaged with these clients. So, if I have that list, I'm going to go ahead. My process would be to send out an email, see if they would be interested in looking at this new experience or encountering this. And if they opt in or agree that this would be a great opportunity, that's when I really try to provide as much detail to them. So I'll provide screenshots of the updates. The screenshot that I provide here is actually one of the tools that I use daily. It's called Loom, and it's a free Google plugin video sharing tool. So you can walk through an experience and also, have your face on there and really have that additional connection point, especially being remote, where they can see, not only talk to you or email you, but they can also see you and see what you look like, feel a little bit more of that personal connection. So tool, again, is called Loom. I've used it several occasions. Where you can easily walk through the experience, show them what buttons to click, or where the new features or new enhancements are to really give them that personalized approach. So that's with the overview of the experience. And then I find it very critical also to provide as many means of that you can of your contact information. So whether that's email, phone, text, any way that they can get contact with you to provide that feedback is critical. So I have some clients that say, I only text because I'm so busy. I wear, 5-6 hats at work. Some of them just pick up the phone and say, hey, I'm having this issue. So being very open to any form of communication and getting that feedback as it comes in is going to be very critical. And so I wanted to share, one of our examples here. So this was one of our beta clients that I'm really, is very helpful for us, identifies issues for us, and provides really constructive feedback. So again, this is an example of something that we tested in lowers and with our internal stakeholders, and everything looked good. And his feedback, what you see on the first screenshot is, hey, if it says not specified, if we don't have those data points on this specific vehicle, this was when we were rolling out a new vehicle detail page, just don't show the data there. Don't show not specified. Just leave that data out. There's already a lot of information on this page that if you don't have the data for it, just don't show it. And that was a good perspective from the client's lens to say, hey, it's just additional words on the page. If it's not there, great. I can just scroll down and see other additional information. And then on the right-hand side, this was one of our first, mock-ups for one of our, vehicle detail page, where we had more of a column approach to showing data. And as you can see, he mentioned that it's just not the best layout. Everything is very, very close together. It's hard to really view that visual. And also had a recommendation for not specified to put NA. Again, less wordy, make it less crowded in that area. So again, just getting that perspective from the client, from these initial clients, has been extremely helpful in helping us roll these products out to a larger audience. So after step 2, you've gotten your feedback from clients, from your beta clients. You may again reevaluate if there's any critical issues, any critical experiences that you need to adjust. And once you've gotten to the step where you've identified there's no further showstoppers, there's no additional issues or severe issues that you need to address, that's when you're going to go ahead and start supporting your early adopters and really opening up your new product experience to your marketplace. So there's a couple ways to do this. So what we've seen that works fairly well is make adoption simple. So what we've done is whenever they get to that classic experience or the current experience, we like to add a toggle option or some type of indicator in a prominent location for them to easily go see or go experience that new product experience. So as you can see, I have a couple examples up there where we'd have a toggle for new and old. And then there's also just a button that we've used to search the old way. You can also prompt clients by having some type of messaging on that landing page that says, hey, new experience available. Here are some of the key features. And maybe list some of those features that you've heard over the years have been pain points or some of those real big drivers to really entice them to come over to that new experience and at least get their feet wet and try it out. So you want to add that option. You want to put it in a prominent location where they can easily toggle to go view that new experience. You want to be able to call out, the benefits of going to that new experience. And a big thing too is make it easy to switch back. Again, everybody might have different experiences. Some might be time critical, or some may just be frustrated with that new experience, can't find what they're looking for. So make it extremely easy to be able to go back to that classic experience and very seamless. And finally, track usage. So if you're able to set up some type of monitoring, if you're able to see which users are going to the new experience or which users are landing there and going back quickly, you'd be able to have the opportunity to reach out to those particular users, or again, work with your sales team that have those relationships to understand why are they going back to that classic experience? Are we missing anything? Just really trying to get as much feedback from these early adopters as possible before you start rolling this out to larger audiences and more clients. So we'll have our final breakout session, the second one. So this is going to be two questions really to talk about. So the first one is, how is your company encourage users to adopt to new experiences? Do you put in things that's, echo the enhancements? Do you say it's just a quick update? Do you give rewards, or do they get rolled in some type of program? And the second thing is, what products and services have you used personally where you've seen a robust strategy to get clients or users to migrate to the new experience? For example, I have like a fitness app where they're trying to get me to go over to the new experience, and they say it's 2 minutes to download, and it has all these premium features that I would typically have to pay for are now available for free. So they've done a great job to get me to come over to that new experience by ease of use and also the additional functionality that I didn't have previously. So for this, we'll do another 3 to 5 minutes, Jason, breakout session.
All right.
So hopefully that was some great conversations there, talking with Haley and her experience with transitioning clients to using the virtual ATMs and the virtual clients and the bank tellers was a very interesting standpoint. So hopefully we got some great tidbits from there and some lessons. So we'll go ahead and move on to step 4. So step 4, this is going to be after that beta client phase. So again, this is a time to reevaluate before you start defaulting clients and really after your adopters have gone through and getting all that feedback. If there's been no major issues identified or no other showstoppers, and you really just want to start getting more eyes and more clients on your new experience, this is the time when you start defaulting clients to your new experience. So there's different ways that you can default, and there's different strategies based on your products, how you can default users. And we've used an array of different techniques. So we've either done just a percentage of overall users. So we'll default maybe 5%, get some feedback from those users, or 10%. And depending on the feedback that we get, or the volume of feedback, again, we'll kind of do a checkpoint after every time that we've defaulted clients to say, hey, is there any big critical impacts or any big critical feedback that we need to address before, upping that to 20% or 30% or 40%. And we kind of move in that direction until we start getting some, any kind of issues. And then we might pause and again, readdress, is this a showstopper that we need to hold off on defaulting more clients or continue to move forward? The second one is client levels. So you can look at, small, medium, large volume that they do with your company, or, if you have different tiers of clients, you might want to start with your lower level clients that might have low volume or may not be on your site as much, and target them first, and then move up to medium, and then move up to large. For us, it might be, independent dealers we might start off with, and then go to our franchise, and then maybe our OEMs, for example, in the automotive space. So really opening it up based on volume. Or you could do region. So if you want to do like a rollout for region wise, you might want to do the Southeast first, and then the Northeast, Northwest, and do it more region based. And that way you can have more laser focused training on those sales teams. Like if you do the Southeast, like your Florida market, really pull everybody in your Florida market, get everybody, up to speed. And also this is good too, because if you have clients that work together, typically in the automotive space, a lot of our clients work and chat and collaborate. So if they're working in the same market, this would hopefully alleviate, hey, I'm seeing this experience, rather than another person saying, hey, I see this experience. They're all in this new experience, all in the same journey, and giving us feedback. And we'll also set up, collect feedback points. So what we do when we default clients over to a new experience is, again, we allow for ease of use to go back to our classic experience. Again, it might impact their day-to-day. Maybe they just don't have enough time at that point in time to get used to that new experience. So again, we allow them to go back to that classic experience, and we continue to track usage, continue to track which users are going back to that classic experience, so that we can raise up, or we can identify, what are their pain points, if they're large or significant clients, or if they just keep going back and they're high volume, going back to the classic experience, we can reach out to those clients as well. So what we'll do is sometimes we will put these surveys out there. So if they click the toggle link, at first we won't have any survey. We'll make it seamless to go back. After we have some time, if we haven't received any additional feedback, that next step is to, when they click that button to go back to the classic experience, we're going to present them a survey to say, can you give us some level of feedback on why you're going back? And here you can see a couple examples. Maybe, the old experience was working just fine. Don't change it. It's working great for me. Maybe I just don't have enough time to learn it right now, and that's why I need to go back. Maybe I just need more time to adopt and maybe spend a weekend learning this experience. Maybe it's, I can't find what I'm looking for, which is key. If we have overlooked a functionality or a feature that was present on the old experience that is critical for their day-to-day, that would be very good for us to know. Or if there's something not working, if they identified some type of issue or bug that's prohibiting their ability to really be successful in the new experience, we really want to know. And then the catch-all is other, if it doesn't fall into any of those buckets. And we really encourage, a free form text field as well. So not only just selecting it so that we can aggregate that view on what the issues are or where the pain points are, but also getting some content. And if they leave, sometimes we'll see people leave their feedback, say, hey, call me here, email me, whatever it means it takes for me to let you know why I don't like this experience or what could be better about it. So we'll present this, and at first we'll let clients just go ahead and exit out of this, maybe not even submit it, and they can click back to the old experience. Again, we'll reevaluate what type of feedback that we learned, or what issues are out there. And then if we've had this out there for a while and we're really not receiving feedback, but we're still seeing users going back to that classic experience, we make it a little bit more tough on that client and start requiring that they fill out the survey. So that adds an additional pain point, additional keystrokes where they're having to click on a certain option. And you can see by those red asterisks too, because we require that. And really that's just a driver of feedback. So some clients, hey, if you make it easy to go back to the classic experience, I'm going to do that all day. But if you add those additional keystrokes that force them to provide that feedback, we've received a lot of feedback that way from clients that say, hey, I don't want this required step. Just let me go back to the old experience. And if we are able to find a severe issue, sometimes we'll remove that requirement to make it a more seamless transition back. And again, encourage call to action. So really wanting to know exactly what's going on and what the pain points are that's prohibiting them from staying on that new experience. So after you've defaulted all clients, after you, again, a lot of reevaluating with your boundary partners on where are we, is there anything that we need to address? Is there anything that we've overlooked? Is there anything that's missing in this new experience that we are not providing that was critical in the classic experience? That's when you start to make it harder to go back to the classic experience. And again, this is more drivers for feedback from clients. So what we've done in the past is we've made the link hard to find. So you can see a visual on the right-hand side where, again, we'd have a toggle right at the top of the page, easy to transition, go back to the classic experience. And the day that you remove that, you're going to get an influx of calls. Hey, I can't go back to that classic experience. Why is that? I'm missing this issue. And so instead of getting that feedback and something critical coming in and re-putting that up there, what we've done is just make it hard to find. But first, we ask for that feedback first to say, what is the critical issue? What are we missing? And then in return, we can say, if you want to go back, the link is located here. So in our case, what we've done for this example is put it in the footer, that area at the bottom of the page. And it's just a link that says switch to switch search experience and then go back to the classic. But at that point in time, we were getting that feedback from that client on any critical issues. And it gives us more time to adjust and to figure out, to implement some of those critical issues. Again, once the feedback has kind of slowed down and there's no critical issues that have been identified or that need to be addressed, at that point in time, once you have socialized to the partners and your clients, and you've addressed all the critical feedback, it's finally time to go ahead and remove that ability to get to that classic experience. So for this, we've used a tool called Optimizely, where we've been able to place the toggles in different areas on the page. So from the top down to the bottom, and then to hide it. So we use Optimizely, so we will hide it on the front end, but it will still be there. So should a client say, I'm still having an issue, we could easily re-show that link there without having to do any kind of deployments with our engineering teams. So that's been pretty robust for us thus far. And again, you're giving clients so many different options to provide that feedback. And hopefully once you get to this point, you've addressed all the critical feedback and there's nothing else out there that you need to address right away that's a showstopper for having all clients on your new experience. And so with that, I'm just rounding out. So going through our steps again. So step one, remember collaborating with internal stakeholders, bringing in some other team members from different departments, whether that's client care, sales, OpEx, UX, to really do internal testing of your new product before you get it out to your initial users. The next step is working with your beta clients, really working with some of your brand champions, getting some great feedback before you start rolling it out to your early adopters in step three. To get more feedback. Step four is defaulting clients to your new experience. And again, driving more feedback from your clients. And then step five is time to celebrate and removing your classic experience access. And that will do it. So I'm happy to answer any questions or any feedback for the presentation today.
So I'm going to jump in here, and Ashish was asking a question in the chat. Ryan, you might want to jump in. He was asking about connecting back. So you were talking about surveying those as they went back to the original experience and left the new experience. Should we try to connect back personally after the feedback with some sample users?
Connect that feedback with sample users. Yes. So typically when we get that feedback, we try to track to see which particular users left that feedback. And if it's something that we overlooked, we'll try to engage with those clients. And, if it's a big change, we might run some UX mockups. We might run some, some designs on it and engage with that client to say, hey, would this satisfy your need? Would this work? And maybe put a prototype real quick in front of that client to get some of their feedback, especially if they're a large client that is, adamant to transition over, really getting their buy-in to say, hey, is this what you're looking for? Does this solve your problem? Because at the end of the day, we're trying to solve their problem, make their life easier, get to this new modern experience. So if we can bring them in and get their additional feedback and buy-in, it makes that transition so much smoother and getting those clients moved over to the new experience.
Very good. And we've got a hand up in here as well. Scott, go for it.
Yeah. Hey, Ryan, awesome job. Just a quick point from a software engineering management perspective would be, once that classic experience is effectively dead, just keep in mind that, it becomes now tech debt, and it's part of, dead code in the code base. And so the engineering teams will need some time to basically physically, if you will, remove that code from the code base. Otherwise, it's just clutter. So I know a lot of this is preserving, access to that classic experience, but once it's deemed dead, there is a cleanup effort that should be considered in terms of keeping that tech debt low from an engineering management perspective.
Absolutely. That's a great point, Scott. So the longer that you maintain, both those experiences, the more costly, and again, talking about cost, tech debt. And typically, it really depends on the experience, but we want to be able to continue to support that, classic experience for, 60, 90 days, just in case there's anything that comes up, or you might have a more infrequent user that may have not come to the site in a while, but just in case. And then once you've hit that 60-day mark where you haven't really received any kind of critical feedback or anything really justifying that, as long as you're not up against a time for the software, if you have license with that classic experience, at that point in time, that would be a good time to start decommissioning that from a technical and code perspective. Let me see, I'm going through the chat. Jason, did you see any other questions?
We just have one pop in. And Joey was asking, what size of feature do you typically use this approach for?
Great question, Joey. So this has been for some of our larger experiences. So we've done it to, completely revamp or modernize our entire website. So these are some big changes that we're talking about here. Most recent, we updated, and Scott will be familiar with this too, is we migrated our simulcast. So an app that our clients go into daily to purchase cars from around the country. We migrated that. It's fundamental to their success, and they are large. I would almost think epic or investment size features, enhancements. You can do some of these, with smaller features if they're going to be impactful, or if they're going to be new, getting it out in front of clients. It never hurts to get some client feedback, get some beta users on it before rolling it out, just to make sure that you've covered all your bases. And again, if you get some buy-in from your beta clients and you really flesh out any type of issues, once you roll it out globally, you're going to get more buy-in, as opposed to if you roll it out with some bugs or issues, some clients may be turned off from going back to using that new feature. So that's a great question.
And what about when you are using smaller features? What pieces would you lean into more than others?
So I would say testing with beta clients would be ideal. Really just getting a small segment of users to say, hey, is this solving your problem? Typically, when we have some of these features or smaller areas, we'll definitely bring in our UX research partners to go talk with some clients out in the marketplace to get some feedback. And then once we go ahead and design that and solution that, and maybe have some more mock-ups, we'll reevaluate with those clients and say, hey, is this solving the problem? Is this seamless? See, looking at their experience from, some prototypes, is it make sense the way that we've designed it? So bringing in beta users, and I think also collaborating with internal stakeholders. So I think, engagement with client care is critical, because they're really hearing day in and day out what type of issues clients are running into. And if you're able to raise this up and say, hey, is this something that would solve your issue? Or, hey, is it easy for you to get with this new feature? I think it'd be very beneficial to get their buy-in and their input as well. So I'd say collaborate with internal stakeholders and testing with beta clients for your smaller features.
That's great, Ryan. Thank you so much. I did have also an observation. I do a lot of my most of the work that I've done has been in the B2B side of product management. And when you were talking back in step 4 about kind of doing that controlled rollout or that limited rollout and kind of starting to default customers to the new experience, in a B2B space, there's also one of the things that we have done pretty successfully in a lot of cases is when, especially when you're working in kind of a lean approach and you're trying to create value for a subsegment, is we would solve the problem for a specific subset of our customers and then take those customers into the new experience. And I don't know if Diane's still on here, but we were working really hard for several years on recreating a marketing automation experience. And so what we do is, as the features and capabilities were ready for a smaller group of our customers, we would start defaulting them to the new experience and moving them to the new experience and rolling and removing the old experience as they no longer had a technical need for it. And then as we added new capabilities to the new experience, we would migrate larger and larger groups. So we would very much focus on what are the capabilities and features that they're using as we're driving them to the new experience and progressively move them as it was ready for them.
Yeah, the feature framework concept was really useful to be able to turn things on for just certain customers at certain times. So you weren't just, hitting everybody, but you could really, focus on certain customers that where you're going to give you really good feedback. Very useful.
So I want to
Jason, I wanted to bring one thing up on that feature flag and the tech debt item.
Yep.
It's probably a lot of people are familiar with it, but if you're not, there was a feature flag that was put into code 6 years ago, and an update went out, and accidentally that feature flag got initiated, and it was a trading firm. And basically, within 45 minutes, the trading firm went out of business because of the way the trades were executed. So that tech debt, depending on your business, depending on your situation, can be very costly.
Oh my goodness, yeah. That is a horror story for sure.
Yes.
That seems very similar.
Interesting. Good to know.
Powerful tools wielded incorrectly.
Yeah, I would code. I learned the hard way. It's like Ghostbusters, don't cross the streams. Branches of code, very dangerous.
Yeah. I would echo the be careful from the opposite perspective as well. We have a legacy code base that's very tightly coupled with it's everything depends on everything else. And so there's a lot of things that we have left in place because it's just not clear what uses it. And if we actually remove the code, instead of just removing the current access that some feature that we don't want anymore has to it, something else that relies on it that we don't know about might actually break. So we're not in trading though. So we're not going to lose $1 billion for ourselves or for anyone else. But just mention that from a legacy standpoint, that sometimes there are situations when sometimes it's better to let the code sit there inert. I know that that's a series of bad decisions that got to that point. However, just pointing out there could be the other side could also come into play.
Yep. Great point.
Refactoring always makes me nervous. I'm always like, do we have to?
All at once? I want to thank you, Ryan, for leading this session today. It was fantastic, and we are at the top of the hour. I know some people have to drop, but thank you so much, Ryan, for coming and sharing this with us at Product Coffee. It was a great session, well executed, and great breakouts too. Some great insights. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you all soon, and thanks for joining us. Take care. Bye.